studio today, we have Bebe Coker, a community activist and voter advocate. Joining her is Elizabeth Paige, president of the Christina School Board. They're both our first persons this week. Let's start off with Elizabeth. You won re-election to the board with 429 votes. It was a 21-vote victory. Correct. But in your election, less than 1% of the electorate turned out to cast their ballots. Why is it so low? Or was it so low in your election? Is it apathy? What is it?
It's not just my election where we have issue with voter turnout in school board elections. Across the state, across our district, voter turnout is just low in school board elections, and sadly so. We've had elections in the past with fewer than 500 votes total cast. I don't know that it's apathy, more than people just aren't always aware of the impact that school boards have on their lives and their communities, and they don't engage in the process.
Well, it's not just Christina. Those numbers are common up and down the state. The average school board election turnout is 1.8%. That's less than 1 in 50 eligible voters. It's better for referendums that affect someone's tax bill, but that's still less than 12%. How big an issue is this? Or are districts happier when turnout is low so they can target parents and not raise the ire of people who always oppose tax increases? Elizabeth?
I think it's a fine line we walk. We try as a district to be very transparent about the tax increases when we have to ask for them from the public and what we will use that money for. Engaged voters are engaged voters, and they're who turn out. Sometimes it does work out in the favor of the district when voter turnout is low when it comes to referendums. Unfortunately, we have very few voters who engage in that process as well until after they're angry that their taxes have been increased.
Bebe, I'm sure you knew turnout was bad, or else you wouldn't be trying to educate people about why it's so important to cast their ballots. Why do you think voting is so important? Why are school board seats and who serve on them so critical to democracy?
I think that part of it, Chris, might be our fault when you really think about it. Because those of us who are aware of the importance of school board, maybe we don't make the pitch like we should. Now, think about this. You might come out very well for, say, the mayoral election, the city council election, the governor's election, whatever. But remember, all of those people went to school. All of those people had teachers. All of those people were in a school district. So what you're really doing is setting up the foundation by making sure that your school district is the epitome of what an academic institution is supposed to be, that children are welcome to learn, children are given opportunities to learn. And if we kind of go about it that way, you could almost say you're growing your leaders. And those are the people you'll be voting for way down the line, but they got to start somewhere.
So tell me about your efforts and what you do and how you're trying to get more people engaged.
Well, right now we are working to help people to understand the importance of having sound minds, sound decision making, sound wisdom, knowledgeable people on school boards, all of the school boards, and to let them know what the requirements are. A lot of people, and I think Elizabeth will back me up on this, a lot of people don't realize you don't have to be registered. I want you to be registered, but you don't have to be registered to vote in a school board election. So you kind of need to say it loud and clear to people who maybe are not that in tune with, politics, policies, school board elections, that sort of thing. So we're just saying it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Christina, specifically, we have issues around, we have nominating districts, and that's to divide up the district. This, people in the city of Wilmington can vote in every single school board election, whether or not the seat up for election that year is the city of Wilmington seat, and the same goes for anybody in Newark. Anybody who lives in the Christina School District can vote in school board elections no matter who is up for election, and I think we do a poor job as a community telling our neighbors about that.
Yeah.
But what can we do to get the word out better?
I think it takes people like Bebe and myself and you coming on TV and
That's
knocking
right.
on neighbors' doors. An interesting story, I had somebody who supported me, a longtime friend, in my election last year. She had one of my signs in her front yard. And I had to text her the morning of the election and say, don't forget to vote today. And she said, oh, that's today?
Oh, wow.
So even people who are engaged and support a candidate, it's just, it's difficult to get people out to vote.
Yeah.
Now, I spoke with Elaine Manlove, who's the president or the commissioner of the State Department of Elections. She suggested maybe they could have school board elections on election day, or they could have referendums and school board elections on the same day in May. and you get one shot at a referendum. And that would maybe draw more people and get more people engaged. Thoughts on that, ladies?
My thinking would be no. I'd like to see it kept separately. I think too many times we give people opportunities to merge and, quite frankly, weaken institutions and that kind of thing. I think that if anything, the rest of my life, I'd like to be about the business of building up what is really important about a school board, what is really important about a school district, what is really important about an educational system, period. And I really don't want the waters muddied with who's getting paid to run and what they're running for in terms of governors and councils and all that kind of stuff. You don't get paid to be on a school board. You get paid in the long run because the person that you say hire as a person in the Department of Elections or licensing and inspection, at least they can read the signs, they're literate. That's very important to me. And I think we need to be that plain and down to earth about it.
So I agree with not moving school board elections to general election timeframes because sadly, education is political enough as it is. When you move it to, the normal general election date, you are further politicizing what should be a nonpartisan elected office.
right.
Okay, Bebe Coker is a community activist and voter advocate. Elizabeth Paige is president of the Christina School Board. Thank you for your time and good luck on May 9th.
Thank you.